We're going to set up an AWS Cognito user pool and connect it to a developer portal for access controls in 4 steps. First, we'll set up the AWS Cognito user pool. Then, we'll set up the identity provider information in Redocly. Then, we'll set up our developer portal. Finally, we'll add the callback URLs to AWS Cognito and show you some demos. Create a user pool. Decide if you want users to be able to sign up themselves. Adjust your preferences. I prefer using the email address instead of a username for the login. Next, add an app client. The app client will have a client ID and secret, which we'll need in the next step. Don't share the secret with anyone. Optionally, set up groups, which I also use in the next step. Set up a Cognito domain to use their hosted UI, and I customize the UI by adding my illustration as my demo logo. In the next step, we'll be setting up the identity provider within Redocly. Sign in and go to the org settings. Then, select Identity Providers. Paste your OpenID Connect config URL. You can find more information about config URLs in our article about setting up your identity provider. While this demo uses AWS Cognito, you could do the same with virtually any identity provider with OIDC support. With Cognito, you'll replace a few placeholders in the config URL with information that you can find on the Cognito user pool. General settings page. Set up an RBAC roles claim name as Cognito: groups, because we plan to eventually grant access to specific content based on the groups the user belongs to. Or you can use any claim name that your identity provider may send onward. In the next step, we'll set up a developer portal by going to Developer Portal Starter Repo and selecting Use this template to set up a new repository. Go back to the Redocly app and set up a new portal there as well. Connect it to the repository you just created. In the final step, we'll set up the allowed callback URLs. Go to the portal settings and select access controls. Select OIDC members only and copy the allowed callback URL and paste it into your identity provider. In Cognito, go to the app client settings, paste in the callback URL, use a comma to separate multiple URLs. Select the authorization code grant and the appropriate allowed OAuth scopes. Let's try it out now. Here is what it looks like when the callback URL is not configured correctly. When I try to access my portal, I'm redirected to the identity provider. If I use an incorrect email or password, I won't proceed. If I use a correct email and password, then I'm redirected to the portal content. Here are some more ideas of what you can do once you've connected your identity provider. You could have a developer portal that is publicly accessible and allow login on it. When the user logs in, they're redirected to the identity provider. But in this case, I'm still logged in, so it doesn't interrupt my flow. Next, we can see I'm able to see and access the Markdown page in the sidebar navigation. I've protected this content. When I log out, I can no longer access that content. Learn more about public access with login and role-based access controls in other videos.